0. The Fool. The flying leap of divine madness. The Fool is the beginning, the end, the unnumbered, and the eternal. They are the seed before the tree, the breath before the word, the silence before the song. The Fool is the 0, a number that is not a number. They are the space before form, the potential before identity, the soul before direction. They have no map, because they are not yet on a path. They are the feather on the wind, drifting through experience without attachment, carried by divine curiosity and unconscious trust. They are also the wanderer, roaming the worlds of spirit and matter, a spark of possibility in search of its own ignition. And sometimes they are the coyote, racing across a ravine and somehow not falling, not yet. Because in the pure momentum of spirit, gravity doesn't apply until you look down. The Fool moves forward without thinking, without knowing, without fear, because fear hasn't been invented yet. Their innocence is their shield, their madness is their freedom, their trust is their power. The 0 and the 1. The Fool is 0, the Magus is 1. 0 is potential, 1 is direction. 0 is raw talent, 1 is conscious creation. The Fool is the divine bit of the binary code that has not yet been flipped. They hold all possibilities within them, but none have been selected, named, or willed. In the computer of the cosmos, 0 precedes 1. The Fool must exist before the Magus can speak. The Magus says, "Let there be." The Fool simply is. The Fool and the Sword. The Fool wanders in joy until they receive the Ace of Swords, the first true spark of self-awareness, clarity, and purpose. That moment is the Fool's first weapon, their first word, their first vector of becoming. It is the holy sword that pierces illusion and initiates destiny. With the sword in hand, the Fool is no longer just a wanderer. They become the knight of the Holy Grail, the sacred seeker, riding not for amusement, but for revelation. Their madness becomes devotion. Their leap becomes pilgrimage. But even then, they still carry that original feather in their cap, because the Fool never fully goes away. They just learn to fly with intention. General meaning. Innocence and potential, you are at the beginning of something vast, unformed, and sacred. Leap of faith, trust the unknown. Action precedes certainty. Freedom from limits. You are not yet bound by rules, stories, or structures. Raw energy, talent, power, and magic that may have not yet been shaped into form. Spiritual foolishness, divine madness, sacred naivety, holy beginnings. The Fool reminds you, everything starts with a flying leap. Jump, then learn how to land. Manifestation meaning. Say yes before you're ready. The Fool calls you to move before you feel prepared. Trust the process. You don't need the whole map, just the next step. Embrace beginner's mind. Don't overplan. Play, explore, experiment. Open to magic. The unknown is not empty, it is fertile. To manifest with the Fool is to act before form, to create by moving with spirit, not structure. Shadow work meaning avoidance of responsibility, wandering without aim, unwilling to commit or grow, refusal to ground, floating forever, afraid to choose, to fail, or to form identity. Naivety as excuse, hiding behind not knowing, to avoid change or consequence. Reckless detachment, jumping for the thrill, without listening to the soul's direction. Shadow work with a fool asks, am I free? Or am I avoiding freedom's true cost, purpose? Freedom without direction is just drift. Psychological perspective, Jungian and neuroscience. In Jungian terms, the fool is the primordial self, preconscious, childlike, archetypal energy full of libido, impulse, and archetypal openness. They are the potential for individuation before the process begins. They are also the trickster, holy chaos that breaks the rules so truth can emerge. From a neuroscience lens, the fool embodies neuroplasticity and beginner's openness, willingness to explore without attachment, high novelty seeking, disillusion of conditioned pathways. They are the brain before habit, the soul before story. Esoteric associations, Kabbalah, alchemy, astrology, and mythology. In Kabbalah, the Hebrew letter Aleph, meaning ox, the symbol of breath, life force, and primal energy. The path from Keter, the crown, to Hokmah, wisdom, the first current of spirit entering form. Alchemy, the prima materia, the raw substance from which all transformation begins. The fool is the untouched element, the lead before the gold, the spark before the flame. In astrology, air and Oranos, sudden inspiration, unexpected change, electric freedom. In mythology, Hermes, the divine trickster, guide of the souls. Lugh, Celtic, the young god of skill jumping from mystery into mastery. Parzival, the innocent who becomes the Grail Knight, not by calculation, but by purity of heart. The fool is the child of the gods, laughing into the void and calling it home. Pop culture and modern references. Wile E. Coyote from Looney Tunes running off the cliff, hovering in midair, free until he notices. Forrest Gump, trusting the moment, changing the world without trying. The Little Prince, wandering through worlds with open eyes and a tender soul. Miles Morales from Spider-Verse, the leap of faith, not because he's ready, but because it's time. Each reminds us, the fool is not foolish. They are fearless, because they don't yet know what to be afraid of. Meditative and ritual use. Meditation, sit with the fool. Visualize yourself standing on the edge of a cliff. The wind rises, a feather floats beside you. Ask, what am I ready to leap into? Feel the trust, not that you'll land safely, but that leaping is the truth. An affirmation, I leap into life. I am guided by wonder. I trust the wind. Ritual. Perform a leap of spirit ritual. Stand barefoot, close your eyes. Imagine every possibility before you. Take one real step forward. Say aloud, I begin. I choose wonder. Write down one action you will take today without knowing the outcome. The fool teaches that the soul always begins in zero, and only through trust, leap, and love does it become one. Final reflection. The Fool is you before the world told you who you were. They are you when you believed in everything. They are not wrong. They are just early. When this card appears, the universe is whispering, don't wait to be ready. Jump, trust the wind, pick up the sword, begin the quest. This is your moment. The Grail awaits. Leap. One, the Magus, the conductor of creation, the mask of the word. The Magus is the word made motion, the sound made flesh. He speaks the world into being, even as he knows it must vanish. The Magus is not the origin of magic, they are its conduit. They are the circuit, not the current, the wand, not the will behind it, the mouth, not the breath. And yet, because they are clear, centered, and open, the divine current flows through them with power. They are the conductor of sacred electricity, that invisible force which surges from the star, through the silent high priestess, and into the world of form. They direct that current like a master musician conducts an orchestra, not playing the instruments themselves, but calling forth their resonance with precision and poise. In one hand, the Magus holds the wand of intention. In the other, they balance the sword of truth, the cup of receptivity, and the disc of form. They do not own them. They orchestrate them. The Magus as performer, musician, and mask carrier. The Magus is the front-facing mind, the public persona, the one who performs magic under the lights. But like any great stage performer, they are supported by countless hidden forces behind the curtain. The subconscious mind, the divine spark, the guidance of the inner priestess, the whisper of the star. They are the actor, the speaker, the master of masks. And this is one of their secrets. The Magus can shift forms, can become what the moment demands, adapting, improvising, transforming to meet the needs of the spell. They wear masks not to deceive, but to channel, to create, to interface with the world on its level. They are Hermes in the marketplace, Thoth with a pen, Mercury dancing between gods and mortals. And they know this: all masks must eventually be removed, but still they wear them with purpose, each mask a glyph of the word. The curse of the Magus. To be the Magus is to create in the full awareness that all creation is impermanent. To speak knowing the words will fade. To build knowing the tower will fall. To manifest knowing that every form is illusory, a fleeting echo of something truer, deeper, unnameable. This is the sorrow and the glory of the Magus. They create anyway. They conjure beauty into a world that cannot hold it forever. They pour meaning into masks. They shape the current into symbols. They write the spell even as the ink begins to vanish. Because to create, even temporarily, in alignment with true will, is the greatest joy of all. General meaning: manifestation and creative will, the power to shape reality through thought, word, and intention. Channel of divine light, acting not as source, but as clear conduit of the spiritual current. Mastery of tools, using intellect, emotion, desire, and embodiment in concert. Elastic identity, ability to shift roles, speak languages, and wear masks without losing inner truth. Creation with awareness, making magic with full knowledge of impermanence. The Magus reminds you, you are here to speak the word, to channel the current, to shape the ineffable into expression. Even if it cannot last, it matters. Manifestation meaning: speak with power. Your words are not idle, they are spells. Use them wisely. Act as conduit. Let divine purpose move through you. Do not block the current with ego. Create with courage. Make the art. Build the bridge. Write the truth, even if it will fade. Align with true will. Manifestation requires not just force, but alignment with your soul's deepest knowing. Manifesting through the Magus means trusting the transmission more than the outcome. Shadow work meaning: ego overload, mistaking yourself for the source, not the channel. Manipulation, using charm, language, or intellect to dominate, not liberate. Fragmentation, losing your core behind too many masks. Despair at impermanence, refusing to create because it won't last. Shadow work with the Magus asks, am I speaking to align or to control? Am I creating with love or performing for approval? Creation must flow from truth, not performance alone. Psychological perspective, Jungian, and neuroscience. In Jungian terms, the Magus is the ego's first awakening to agency. They stand between the raw potential of the fool and the deeper mystery of the priestess. They are the conscious mind learning to speak, the one who names, directs, and expresses. They are also the trickster capable of illusion and brilliance, requiring discernment and responsibility. From a neuroscience lens, the Magus corresponds to the prefrontal cortex, language, planning, creative impulse, the ability to envision and manifest. They are also the mirror neuron network, able to wear masks, read roles, and adapt fluidly. But all these systems work best when serving a higher internal alignment, the star behind the spotlight. Esoteric associations: Kabbalah, alchemy, astrology, mythology. Kabbalah, Hebrew letter Beth, meaning house, the dwelling through which the word manifests. Path from Keter, the infinite, to Binah, understanding. From pure spirit into intelligible structure. Alchemy, Mercury, fluid, reflective, volatile, connective. The Magus is the alchemical agent, the transformer of the raw into the real. Astrology, Mercury, communication, magic, adaptability, the current between worlds. Mythology, Hermes, god of boundaries, transitions, messages, and mischief. Thoth, the divine scribe, writing the structure of reality with each word. Odin, sacrificed an eye to gain the runes, language as power, paid for in blood. The Magus is not the god. They are the voice of the god, amplified by clarity, intention, and creative devotion. Pop culture and modern references. David Bowie, the shapeshifter, changing masks with every act, yet channeling truth through each. Prince, magician, musician, fluid, theatrical, creative, mercurial. Doctor Strange, sorcerer of symbols, whose real strength is not the spell, but the will behind it. V, from V for Vendetta, a masked master of language, performance, and purpose. Each embodies the Magus's paradox, a face worn to reveal what is behind the face. Meditative and ritual use. Meditation. Sit with the Magus card. Visualize yourself as a wire, one end connected to the star, the other rooted in the earth. Let the current pass through you, golden, fluid, alive. Ask, what word wants to be spoken through me? What mask must I wear to serve it? Affirmation. I am the voice of the current. I speak only what aligns with true will. Ritual. Perform a mask of power rite. Choose or create a symbol for your current magical role. Speak aloud. I wear this face to serve the light. Write down a spell or intention to manifest, and seal it with a single spoken word. The Magus teaches that to create is divine, even if the creation must eventually fade. Final reflection. The Magus is the word in motion, the current given voice, the illusion made sacred through intention. They create masks. They wear them. They remove them. They know they are all impermanent. And still, they speak. Still, they create. Still, they move the world in alignment with true will. When this card appears, ask, am I a clear channel? Am I wearing the mask that best serves the work? Am I creating from fear or from the star that shines through me? Speak, act, conduct, create. Even if it disappears, especially if it disappears. Two, the High Priestess. The voice of intuition, the hand that guides you through the veil. She is the radiant silence behind the world, the light of the star made intimate, the knowing that comes before thought and remains after all words fall away. The High Priestess is not the speaker, she is the message. She is the light of the star passed gently through the veil, becoming the inner voice, the dream symbol, the emotional truth you can't explain, but can't ignore. She is intuition, the part of you that knows without knowing how. She is the full moon, the psychic aperture open wide, the third eye in full bloom. When she appears, something within you is already awake. She doesn't shout. She doesn't argue. She waits until you're ready to take her hand. The Priestess and the Hanged Man, the inner descent. There is a hidden harmony in the cards when the Hanged Man is placed above the High Priestess. Look closely. Their hands almost touch. The Hanged Man is the seeker suspended between the worlds, surrendering, letting go of control, the ego stepping out of the way. The Priestess is the one waiting below, open arms, hand extended, ready to guide him through the darkness. They are not separate. He is surrender, she is guidance. Together they show the soul's descent into gnosis. You do not fall into darkness, you fall into her. The Priestess and the Moon. The High Priestess is a lunar energy, often confused with the Moon, card 18, but they are different phases of the same mystery. The Priestess is the full moon, a wide open aperture of spiritual sight, the third eye luminous and steady. The Moon card is the new moon, a narrowed psychic field, closed third eye fear and illusion. The Moon card is the dark, scary forest. The Priestess is the one who leads you through it. The Moon card is where trauma speaks. The Priestess is the voice that says, "This way, beloved. The garden is ahead." The Priestess leads to the Empress life. The High Priestess never leads you in circles. She leads you to the Empress. She is the inner compass that always points toward joy, toward the big rock candy mountain, Eden, the garden of life, your Empress state of being. She is not concerned with comfort. She is concerned with truth. And when you follow truth, through fear, silence, unknowing, you arrive at radiance, creation, beauty, love. You arrive at her sister, the Empress. The only condition, you must trust her, even in the dark, especially in the dark. General meaning. Intuition and inner knowing. Your soul already knows the way. Listen. Psychic expansion, a time of deepened insight, third eye activation, heightened dreams and symbols. Guidance through mystery. You are being led through the forest of the unknown. The full moon phase, illumination, receptivity, clarity through silence. Surrender to trust. You are not meant to figure it out. You are meant to follow. The High Priestess reminds you, you do not have to see the whole path. You only have to feel the next step. Manifestation meaning. Trust the pull. What calls you now is not fantasy, it's guidance. Don't force, align. Manifestation comes when you are attuned, not when you try to control. Let the Empress life come closer. Your best life is approaching. Walk toward it. Act from knowing, not thinking. What feels true beneath the words. That's your way forward. To manifest with the Priestess is to ride the silver current. It never leads you astray. Shadow work meaning. Fear of intuition. Ignoring the whisper because you don't have proof. Mental override. Letting logic drown out the soul's quiet knowing. Clinging to the old map, even when the compass clearly points elsewhere. Mistaking fear for truth, confusing the moon's illusion with the Priestess's clarity. Shadow work with the priestess asks, what part of me already knows? What would happen if I stopped resisting that knowing? Her hand is still reaching out. Take it. Psychological perspective, Jungian and neuroscience. In Jungian terms, the high priestess is the anima, the inner feminine guide through the unconscious. She appears in dreams, synchronicities, longings, and sudden clarity. She is also the threshold guardian of the self, the guide toward wholeness. From a neuroscience lens, she reflects the default mode network activity: internal reflection, memory, vision. The limbic attunement, emotional resonance, nonverbal insight. Right hemisphere awareness, metaphor, pattern, symbol. She does not operate in language. She operates in truth. Esoteric associations: Kabbalah, alchemy, astrology, mythology. Kabbalah, the Hebrew letter Gimel, meaning camel, the one who crosses the desert of silence. Path from Keter, the source, to Tiferet, heart. Divine light made personal. Alchemy, the lunar vessel, receptive and luminous, holding the fire of spirit before it takes shape. The queen of the hidden art. Astrology, the moon in her full phase, fertility, cycles, dreams, and illumination. Mythology, Isis, keeper of sacred mysteries. Hecate, she who stands at the crossroads. Sophia, wisdom incarnate, hidden in silence. She is not the light itself, she is how you receive it. Pop culture and modern references. Galadriel, gentle, luminous, ancient, offering knowledge through presence, not argument. The oracle of the Matrix. Her knowing doesn't come from logic, it comes from already being there. Luna Lovegood, the truth that makes no sense, until it's the only thing that makes sense. The Lady in the Lake, arm rising through mist, offering the gift when it is time. They teach us you don't need certainty, you need trust. Meditative and ritual use. Meditation. Sit with the High Priestess card. Place the Hanged Man above her. Visualize him suspended above, letting go, her hands rising to meet his. Imagine her light entering your third eye. And ask, what do I already know, but fear to follow? Wait for the answer to rise without words. Affirmation. I open my psychic eye. I trust the light within. I follow her through the forest. Ritual. Perform a silver thread ritual. Light a white or silver candle. Place the High Priestess and the Empress on your altar. Write a question on paper. Sit in silence and let the answer come as image, emotion, or intuition, not words. Then walk toward what feels like the garden. Final reflection. The High Priestess is your soul's original knowing. The quiet voice you keep doubting. The hand reaching out from within. When this card appears, listen. Look inward. Follow. You are being guided to beauty, to safety, to joy, even if the path leads through a dark wood. Above you, the Hanged Man surrenders. Below, the priestess receives. They are one gesture, trust. Take her hand. You are being led home.